No one told me that the hardest part doesn't stop and it just changes shape. I came across this creator who was talking about elite cyclists, and they were following these riders, and they were like, this Tour de France, like those high level cyclists and like the stuff that they do. And one word kept coming up for them, and that word was suffering. No, suffer. Yeah, the word was suffer. And these are some of the finest of their craft, the most accomplished athletes out alive, right? And they didn't hide from that fact. They didn't hide from that word. And this is episode 7 of the Freelancer's Mind, a series about the beliefs shifts that changes how we show up as self-employed people or solo business owners. Hi, I am Nene, and I help people become the person their goals require. So everything I share here is something that I have lived first. And what that means is if you've ever hit a place like a hard patch in your business, in your journey, and thought, oh, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe, okay, now it's time for me to just, I'm doing something wrong, or this is not like my lane. Then I need you to hear this before you go any further, or before you even hang your towels, or like end this. Because the early stages, right? You're the CFO, whatever it is, like you're the accountant, you're the director, you wear so many hats, you're the designer, you're the one that makes sure that all the bookings are done, you're the one that makes sure that the clients are satisfied, you're the customer service person, you're all these things in building. So there's more suffering through the building. There is so much that has to happen for you to get there. And sometimes we feel like, okay, that means that we're not meant to do this. That means that this is not for us. So if these top athletes know that, you know what, suffer is part of the equation in the things that we get to wear this medal around our neck and all the things, the same is true for us. Hard season can feel like proof of something is wrong. A proof that something means you need to stop, or something means you have to wait. But it doesn't have to mean that. It doesn't. It's just part of the equation. When we can understand that in what we are building, in what we're doing, it shapes differently. It means differently. As you grow, you're then able to delegate new things. You're then able to bring in new stuff. And then it reshapes. This suffering doesn't disappear. It evolves. It changes. It's on. Like feeling like I am showing up every single day, but the numbers doesn't reflect that, like the views are not there, that this is not there. People like, no, it's not for me. We might feel like, this is suffering, but you have to understand it is part of doing the desire you want. Because if it was easy, every single person would be doing it. But I want to check this, want you to consider this as well. What if the suffering isn't a warning sign? Have you ever thought about it that way? What if it's not a warning sign? What if it is just a terrain? It is just it's just part of it. It's just part of how this is supposed to manufacture. It's a part of what builds that resilience. It's part of what builds you. Part of what makes you show that, yes, you're it. So when we can see these top people realizing that, suffering is part of it. Even athletes, like they practice all year for a 100-meter sprint that doesn't average 10 seconds, 11.5, and they've been suffering and injuring and doing all these things all the way to just be in that start line. So I want us to just reconsider what suffering is. Because suffering doesn't wait. We are kind of people that don't wait for that suffering to end before we move. We're the kind of people that don't wait for that suffering to put that stake in the ground and say we can't move anymore. No, we move around, we re-strategize, we do what it is. We learn as we ride through it each and every time because it shapes a newer version of us. We signed up that this, we're now taking on that. Look, you know what? Suffering is just part of the mission. It's just part of getting to that point of desire that we want, part of creating the thing we want to make happen for self. We are not longer going to hide away or shy away or think that this means that we are not meant to, or we are not good enough, or we are not supposed to do this thing. No, we now are now understanding that suffering is part of the equation. It just shows up in different shapes and sizes, in different forms and different ways. And with that, we move on. So now I would love to hear from you in the comment section. What season of suffering are you in right now? What season are you? And what is that shape taking place? What is that? What does that get to look like? Because I have gone through those highs and lows of this suffering situation and thinking like, oh my gosh, like, am I? And you get the like looks, oh, how's that your online business going? Like, how is your thing and whatever, or like even just how people relate and stuff like that. It's a different shapes. Or is it a case of like, I'm there trying to create something in an app with Stripe, and it's like, why can't I get in? What is all this stuff? Like understanding all these different dynamics. And to some people, it's like, oh man, okay, whatever, okay, it's not happening. It is part of the building, it's part of who we are. So whatever shape that suffering is showing up for you right now, know that this too shall end. And it might evolve into something else, into something even bigger. It doesn't mean that we get to stop. It just means we get to go through it stronger, better, more resilient, more sharper, more knowing of self. As we've decided that we're signed up for whatever it is that we're doing for ourselves, for our business, we take on the suffering. We're not shying away from it. We walk through it, we align. Because greatness lies on the other side of it. Who we become lies on the other side of this word. Who we are, like how we show proof, lies on us. So we're no longer going to shy away from that word anymore. That's showing up for us in our business. That's showing up in whatever it is that we're doing. It is part of it. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it. But we're in the 1%, right? We're in the top tier of people who pull through, people who just go on, regardless of what is showing up. This is the Freelancer Mind with series we're doing. If you haven't already done so, subscribe so you get notified. And yeah, go through the other series where we talked about different areas of like, what is that showing up for the Freelancer Mind? What's that thing happening? And because we're just getting started, we're really getting to the hands of what is truly showing up for us as we go on. Remember that your voice matters and it is your time to use it. Bye for now.